Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafit, along with my good friend, Artemis Brower. Artie, how we doing, my friend?
Oh, man, we're good. We're almost at the end of the week. Honestly, this week flew by. And I don't know about you, but for me, this week just absolutely flew by. Another week of college football ahead of us. We got some growing pains. We're going to get into that. Obviously, could be better, but we're back. We're back for another episode and happy to deliver for the people.
For sure, yeah, we're back. Artie, the week has flown by just because I have been off of work all week. I visited Chi-Town this week.
Let the people know how you like my city.
Tinley Park. I'm from Tinley Park. Chicago deep dish, Owls, Italian beef. Had some fun at Wrigley Park, Wrigley Field. Yeah, I mean, honestly, fun week. Artie, I probably shouldn't be saying this. This is what I'll say. We went on this trip. It was a work conference for my wife.
Yeah.
And we paid quite a bit of money for for me to go to some of the dinners. I won't say the amount, but we paid quite a bit. And one of the nights was a hand passed dinner. So what they were doing was they were just coming around and it was like hors d'oeuvres. It was small plates. Mm-hmm. Honestly, some things were good. Some things weren't. I was like, it's a little hoity-toity for me, you know? I'm just a guy from Lexington, North Carolina.
Yeah, give me my food straight up.
And anyways, I was like, if this is all we're getting for food, I'm a big guy. Some might say that I look like a famous App State alumni, Luke Combs. You know, I mean hence the shirt tonight.
I was about to say you got the shirt on.
I did this on purpose.
My man got the chest showing tonight. I see you.
I did this on purpose. But Artie, no, so I was like, man, I'm not going to get my money's worth out of this food. And it was an open bar. And I walked up to the bar and I looked at it and I said, what are my options? There was a fifth of Makers, fifth of Elijah Craig sitting right there on the table. And I told the bartender, I said, I'm going to drink this whole bottle of Elijah Craig before I leave this place tonight.
Hold on. Why did you want to drink a fifth of liquor?
Because I wanted to get my money's worth from this dinner.
So hold on. So this dinner, like they provided this alcohol, like, and you could just this was something that you could do. You could just drink the whole. Oh, that's nice.
And considering how much we had paid, I was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
If I drink this whole bottle of liquor, I got my money's worth. Yeah. And that's what we did.
Now that's an ECU pirate for you.
That's what we did. Your boy went shot for shot by himself, drinking Elijah Craig all night. I think one other person got a drink from the Elijah Craig bottle, but I made sure that I watched I every time I'd go up there, I'd say, "Hey, Mr. Bartender, this is all me, right?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And I was like, "All right." I did not feel great that night.
I know you did.
But hey, what are you gonna do about it? But that was Artie, we had a blast. We had a blast in Chicago.
Good.
Was happy to get back. We got back last night late, like around 1 a.m. So yeah. Good to be back. Good to be back recording an episode with you. Artie, number 62. 162.
Yes, sir.
Of the Boneyard Podcast, number 62. I see you have one in the notes.
I do.
I'm debating whether this is chalk or not.
Look.
This is chalk.
It's chalk, but it's also not chalk because it's one of the big uglies. All right. It's a unit that does not get love or praise. So yeah, it's chalk because when I say his name, everyone's gonna be like, okay, yeah, we know who that is. Right. But like it's not like he's as famous as his brother. you know, who's like one of the greatest ever at his position. So, I mean, I got to shout out the Big Uglies. So my player for the week, number 62, Jason Kelce. That's my guy. Honestly, He's a great pro. He's a great human being. You should see some of the philanthropic work that he does outside in Philadelphia, outside of his community. He's a great dude. Has a podcast with his brother, Travis Kelce. Don't know if you ever seen their podcast. It's actually a pretty good podcast.
I've seen clips. I haven't listened to it full through, and I guarantee they probably haven't listened to ours full through.
Yeah.
When they do that, I'll listen.
It's pretty good. He's got a really good personality. Jason Kelce is more than the big ugly that blocks for Jalen Hurts. He's got a really good personality, cool guy. Gonna run through some of his stats real quick because he's really one of the best, great offensive line in the NFL. Round 6 pick to the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2011. 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, 176 career starts, and honestly, he's probably the best center in the league right now as it presently sits. So shout out to Jason Kelce, shout out to the Big Uglies, and yes, it's chalk, but not really. Jared, you're muted.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
Come on, Jared.
I thought I had unmuted. I had to cough. I was coughing up some of that bourbon from a couple nights ago. No, that's chalk. That's if I'm making the final decision, that's chalk.
Maybe. Okay.
That's chalk.
Okay. How many times have we talked about offensive linemen on this show?
Mine's not chalk. Built like an offensive lineman, but didn't play football, or at least not that I know. Probably did growing up in Lincoln, Nebraska. Number 62, former Yankee, Joba Chamberlain. You know about him, Artie? What you know about Joba Chamberlain?
Never heard of this guy.
He kind of was like a flash in the pan. Had kind of a flash in the pan career. I mean, got really big, was dominant. Had a dominant strikeout rate there for a little bit. He tried his hand at starting. That didn't really turn out. He honestly, I think the big, and this is coming from a big guy, I think the problem with him, he didn't have the stamina to be a starter in the major leagues. I mean, he's a big guy. His height, weight, let's see, 6'3", 245 pounds. I mean, that's a big dude on the mound. But 2009 World Series champ, wore number 62 every year except for when he was with the Tigers for 2 years in 2014 and 2015. Had 25 wins, 21 losses, 3.81 ERA. Started 43 games in his career, but like I said, more known for being a good relief pitcher in his 10 years in the big leagues. Artie, that's it for number 62 for me. I mean, I don't know. There's not many 62s. There's not many. Who cares about?
Honestly, we're getting into the numbers now. Like 60s and 70s, it's gonna be hard pickings. When we get into the 80s, then we're back into.
You got some wide receivers in there.
Yeah, you got some
decent
in there.
Yeah.
60s and 70s, it's gonna be slim pickings. I'm gonna make it my mission to find a hockey player for next week. I haven't done a hockey player in a long time. I'm making my mission to find a 63.
Hey,
63.
I said this before. 63 has a special place in my heart. Josef Vasicek, Carolina Hurricane. He was my 63 last time. I'm not going to pick him again. But I also say, hey, when I do I love to play the be a pro mode in all the video games, and I always wear 63 in my games. If I wore number 63 when you and I went B-side intramural runner up. The year that, I mean, if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have even been in the championship game.
Jared, you did not have to mention on live that we were B-side runner up. I don't even need people to know this about me, okay? We didn't win no championships.
Hey.
Pain. That was pain. It was absolute pain. But it's okay. We digress.
I mean, it's like the Bills going to 4 straight Super Bowls and not win. We were basically the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, well, we were clearly the best team, but pain.
Yeah, that sucks. All right, Artie, let's get into the episode. We're gonna talk some Marshall, talk about that dreadful fourth quarter against the Thundering Herd, and then we're gonna talk some App State towards the back half of the podcast. But first, let me tell you about the Variety Sports Podcast Network. The Boneyard Podcast is proud to be members of the Variety Sports Podcast Network. Lots of great shows. I think there's like 6 shows on tonight, live streaming across our entire platform. Go check it out. Follow VSN. We're live on VSN right now. So if you're watching on VSN, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or on YouTube, hey, drop us a like. Go find us on our socials at Boneyard Podcast. But if you're watching on at Boneyard Podcast, go find VSN, Variety Sports Network, and Variety Sports Collegiate. All right, Artie. This game against Marshall.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Pirates fall, what was it, 31-13? I don't even have the final score. Artie and I decided to leave after the 2-hour weather delay. We finally decided to leave with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I had an early wake-up call. I had a 4 a.m. wake-up call to fly to Chicago the next morning. Decided I did not want to be a part of the post-game press conference, and, I mean, can you really blame me? Artie, what's the good? Was there any good against Marshall?
Look, I'll say this: the little good that there was the defense did play good for 3 quarters. Now, obviously, we know what happened in the fourth quarter in that avalanche, which was spurred on by a trick play. It was very keenly, smartly called trick play because that was a perfect time to do that.
That was a perfect time to call that play.
That was brilliant, play calling, honestly. But the defense looked good for 3 quarters, and they literally kept us. Literally, the only thing that kept us in this game for 3 quarters. The only reason why we had a lead going into the fourth quarter was our defense. Gift wrapped a touchdown for the offense in the first half by getting a fumble within the 5-yard line. Still took our offense 3 plays to get into the end zone. 3 plays, 3 yards to get into the end zone, mind you. But they got in, and that was a gift wrap touchdown from the defense, the only touchdown we had all game. So those are some of the bright spots. The defense has a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of upside on this defense. It looks a lot better than I thought they were going to look. Now, granted, again, they've given up 61 points in 2 games. Now, one of those is Michigan. We get that. But to give up 31 to Marshall is still not where you want to be to do what you did in that fourth quarter. But I will say the good was solid defense for most of the game, and then that turnover. Yeah,
I mean, even late in the game, I mean, you have that trick play. One play, it's like 75 yards, trick play. Hey, all right, you're still in it. Well, after that play, Mason Garcia comes out and immediately throws an interception, I believe, on maybe the next play or 2 plays later.
And he stared that down. I mean, we saw that
like the entire time pre-play. I was sitting there like I knew where he was throwing it pre-play.
Yeah,
he was throwing it. I can't remember who was wide out over there on the Marshall sideline, but that's where he was going. Everybody in the stadium knew it. And unfortunately, so did the Marshall DB, right? I mean,
that's one of the easiest interceptions you're going to get.
Like, and then there was no way anybody was gonna stop him. He jumped the route. I mean, that was one of the I just knew that was about to be a pick 6. I probably should have called it pre-play. Like, this is a pick 6. And it was the first time that he really tried to even throw it downfield. Right? It was a decent pass, except it was to the wrong guy. And you can't you don't put that on the defense. But yeah, I mean, put them in great field position, right? So, or that was a pick 6, right? That was.
I don't believe that was a pick 6.
But they tackled him like 15 yards to go.
Right.
So once again, that's not
already in plus territory. So
yeah, because that's when Ali got his touchdown, that rushing touchdown. When honestly, I thought they had him stopped, and I thought forward progress had stopped. But hey, you got to play till the whistle, right? And yep. ECU let up. Hey, you can't have that. You can't have that. Yeah, but the good, I mean, the defense still looked good. If it wasn't for the defense, I don't know if ECU would have even scored a touchdown in that game.
They wouldn't have. They would not have scored.
We could be talking about ECU being 2 games, 8 quarters into this season without a touchdown.
Yeah. No, I
We're talking Iowa numbers.
Yeah. That was the defense literally said, "Here you go. Please do something with this." Like we wouldn't have scored in that game.
Yeah. So that's tough. It's tough to see that, Artie, and who knows? I mean, maybe the Pirates can figure something out on offense. I'm not 100% sure that they can. So yeah, I mean that's all I'm going to say is we're going down a tough road here for ECU on offense.
Yeah, and it's the worst problem you can have as a team is having an issue at the quarterback position. That is literally the worst problem you can have, and that is the problem that ECU now faces. We have a problem at the quarterback position. We have to get that fixed. That's not a work in progress, right? Quarterback, you got to get that fixed immediately. Like you have to get that done right away, or else the season is going to be derailed. You're not talking about a bad season. You're talking about a horrific.
We're talking 1-11 season.
You're talking
the win being Gardner-Webb.
Awful. If you do not get this quarterback situation fixed right now, this is not a work in progress. It's got to get fixed now. So that's where we are. It's not where you want to be, obviously. Flynn, he is trending upwards, right? I mean, he's the guy that he came in through that dart immediately. Again, he doesn't look like a road beater. He doesn't look like somebody. Like, we don't know if he's the actual answer at quarterback. And I still believe in Mason. I still think Mason has all the intangibles. I don't know what it is that's going on. I can't really explain why he looks the way he looks, why a lot of these passes are being thrown into the dirt. These passes are off. He's throwing interceptions. I don't understand that, but I still do believe in Mason. I still want him to succeed desperately. And I wanted to start this week. But, obviously as a coaching staff, sometimes you need to make difficult and hard decisions. If Alex Flynn is giving you the best chance at winning football games, then Alex Flynn needs to be your guy going forward. That's just what it is. But we're in a situation where we got the worst problem in football, and that's a problem at the quarterback position. So
yeah, I mean it's the offense as a whole. Offensive line trash.
Offensive line is bad. It has not been protecting well. You're absolutely right.
The offensive line is honestly trash. Quarterback trash. Wide receivers are dropping a lot of balls that are non-contested balls, right? Like even for Flynn, they're dropping a lot of balls.
Right.
I mean, and these are good receivers. Like we've seen them make plays in the past, but they're not CJ Johnson. They're not Isaiah Winstead. They're not Zay Jones. They're not Justin Hardy. The list goes on and on. They're not those guys. But somebody's got to step up and finally say, I'm that dude. Right? And it's the offense as a whole. Running backs haven't had much opportunity, and a lot of that is on the offensive line. Right? It also doesn't help when we're running it up the middle on 3rd and 12. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, maybe roll out a triple option. I mean that seems like the only opportunity with Mason's legs for ECU to really get anything going.
And here's the thing too. It's like you had 3 years to develop this guy, right? I mean, Mason is sitting behind Holden for 3 years. You had all the time in the world to make sure that this guy was ready and prepared for this stage, and you failed him. So the coaches got to get called out too, right? It's not just the O-line or the offensive unit and the quarterback play as a whole. It's the coaches. They have to be called out. Coach Houston, Donnie K, we love them, but you got to get called out when blame needs to be put on. And they did not get Mason prepared the way he should have been prepared, and they had plenty of time to make sure that he was prepared. And
yeah.
And the play calling too. Donnie K's offensive play calling, it's always just been kind of It's never been special. It's never been great. It's always been It's always been, we're going to do this not to lose. Like, I am coaching not to lose instead of coaching to win. I've never actually seen our offensive play calling go out and like just go and take it. Even with the good teams and the good offenses that we've had, especially last year too. The coaching and the play calling is okay. Let's not make a mistake. Let's just not lose the game. But you're not coaching to win.
Yeah, and I don't know. This has to be Donnie Kirkpatrick's last year. Artie, if we're gonna make a shirt, if we're gonna make a shirt for the Boneyard Podcast, hey, it all came together last year on offense when the Boneyard Podcast made their declaration to finally fire Donnie Kirkpatrick. So here it is. If EC wants to get it going this weekend, I guess I need to say it on there. Fire Donnie Kirkpatrick. This man should not have a job. Not at this level of college football. Not at this level of college. Everybody knows what the play is going to be. You're going to run it up the middle. And then we're going to run a slant pattern and try to hit somebody over the middle on second down. And then we're going to run it back up the middle on third down. That's it.
Yeah, there's just no special qualities to the offense. There's just nothing special to it. There's nothing special with the play calling. And there's nothing new. Now, I don't want to come from a man's livelihood, but I mean, obviously,
he's made enough.
It ain't working. It's not working. You got to call a spade a spade. I say it all the time. It's not working, and something has to change. And obviously, everybody on Twitter and all the couch potatoes, they're gonna call out the players, and I get that the play has not been well. But if you really want to blame somebody, blame these coaches.
Yeah. Anything else on the bad? I mean, it just seemed like after that touchdown, that trick play, I mean, it just seemed like everybody on the field gave up. They knew they weren't scoring another touchdown. They weren't getting back in that game. Anything else on the bad?
No.
All right. Ugly. Hey, I mean, the fourth quarter, we already talked about it.
Right.
You had a lead going into the fourth quarter. And like you said, we played not to lose. We didn't play to win. Okay. Also, for ECU being, I believe they were in the top 5 for least penalized teams in the country last year. Maybe even top 3, along with like Army and Navy. ECU has taken so many penalties this year. Granted, like we had our gripes with the officiating week 1. A lot of the penalties in week 2 was just stupid play.
Right. It was on us. Most 80 to 90% of the penalties were us. Just
like there was a couple. There's a couple in there where I was like that pass interference. There was a pass interference, I believe, in the first quarter, second quarter, where the guy touched the ball and then got hit.
Yeah.
Wasn't even touched before then. The ball was overthrown. He had to jump and was going to have to make an Odell Beckham Jr. type catch. That was the only way he was getting that ball. So, and to throw a pass interference, hey, it's Sunbelt refs. Oh, well, you get over it. I mean, you got to make the next play, and you just don't. You got to get off the field on third down. If you have them third and long, you can't let them extend plays. I saw a lot of that from ECU. That's probably more in the bad category because you can work towards that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't be taking penalties. Especially you can't be taking these penalties that they're giving up 15 yards.
112 yards of penalties. 112 yards of penalties. Double-digit 11 penalties. I mean, you can't win football games doing that. You're not going to. Even if we were to play good, we would have kept Marshall in this game because of 11 penalties for 112 yards. It's absurd.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks. It really does. It sucks, Artie. But Marshall's behind us. You let one slip away. Now you shift your thoughts to traveling up the road, straight down I-40, down to Boone.
Yeah.
Artie, we're gonna be at this game. You and I are gonna be there.
You are gonna be at this game.
You're gonna be there.
I can't make it this weekend.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a birthday party I have to go to. One of my good friends.
You have a birthday every year.
Her daughter's turning 1, and we RSVP'd like months ago. So I gotta go. I gotta be there.
Artie.
I know. I was looking forward to being in Boone this week. When you hit me with the text, I was like, "Oh my God, we're going to Boone!" And then I remembered, I can't.
I don't even want to record the rest of the podcast now that I know that. No. All right, I will be in Boone this weekend. So if you got a place to tailgate, I know that's the talk of the town right now. Is it's hard to get a tailgate pass because they cost more than life itself, it seems like, up there in Boone and the Appalachian Mountains. But Artie, let's shift our focus to App State. This is a pivotal game for ECU.
Must win.
It's a must
win.
I wasn't gonna.
The season's basically kind of over. You don't win this game.
I wasn't gonna put the stamp on it to be a must win, but yeah, it is.
No, this is a must.
It's a must win. It's a must win game. You go on the road. You go face a team that you lost by 2 touchdowns a couple years ago, down in Charlotte. You got to play. I mean, they're a good team. We're playing another team that's at the top of the Sun Belt, right?
Yeah.
And they're fighting for a Sun Belt championship this year, just like Marshall was last week. And ECU hung around with Marshall, but I think ECU, if they can figure it out on offense, they may be able to hang around with App State. But I'm not fully sold on it yet. Let's talk about App State though. 6-6 last year. Had the tough loss against Chapel Hill last year.
Yeah.
Beat Texas A&M last year. Right? Hosted game day last year. I mean, lots of big things happening in Boone. And all of that to say they still finished 6-6, right? It, like everybody had all these high expectations for them, and they still do. Had to replace a lot of guys on this team, right? Well, I can't remember what the number was.
I think it was 28 guys graduated and 14 guys transferred out.
Yeah, had to replace a lot of talent on this roster. Without all that being said, hey, they go out, they handle business with Gardner Webb. It looked a little bit closer until this Aguilar kid came in week 1 with Gardner Webb. Had me opening my eyeballs a little bit that first half against Gardner Webb, but then they figured it out and beat them like they should have. Yep. Then last weekend on the road, I'm not going to say a tough place to play. Chapel Hill hasn't beaten ECU in over 4,000 days. Gotta get that in.
But that's a good Carolina team though, and they almost beat.
That is, they did, and back-to-back years going to overtime with them. So, yeah, I mean, Artie, that's really it. I mean, you ready to talk? You ready to talk App State with the Gold Room Podcast?
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
All right, we're gonna bring on the Gold Room Podcast. Let me tell you a little bit about them. So they're internationally known as the most handsome App State podcast host, as well as the host of the best App State podcast. In the App State podcast cinematic universe, Will Strickland and Parker Stone are proud Mountaineers. Their podcast is #1 on positivity, and they've received sponsorship offers from brands such as Arm & Hammer, Kraft Max, Cheese, ICUP, haha, and Gildan, but always decline to show their listeners that they are not bought and sold by big podcasts. The Gold Room Podcast. Welcome to the Boneyard Podcast.
What an intro.
Cracking beers. I love it.
Yes. Gentlemen, how are we feeling? How are we feeling, baby?
We're good. It's good to have you gentlemen on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the invite.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I've got a visitor on the podcast right now.
Welcome.
Here.
Oh, is it Bell?
No, it's
Ficklin.
It's this asshole.
It's Ficklin.
This is Ficklin.
Oh my gosh. He's so cute.
Oh,
boy.
One second.
Oh, take your time.
It's all good. We're
Well,
king
so-
of vamping. If you need some vamping, we're king.
We'll create some commentary.
Are you at least going to close the door?
Are you talking to the dog or?
No, I'm talking.
He's trained that well.
No, my wife comes in here, opens the door, knows we're podcasting. All she needs is my wallet.
Hey, story of your life, right?
So I mean,
those wives, man.
we've got people watching here.
Gotta love love.
Guys,
I think my mom's watching. I sent her the link. I don't know if she's watching. Hi, Mom.
Love it, guys. What's going on? Like, there's a lot going on here in the video.
Oh,
how y'all doing?
We always try to keep it to who we are.
Right. And whenever we get an opportunity to we get an honor to like be a part of a podcast, we want to step up a little bit. We want to
have some production quality,
match the occasion, and put on a little show. So.
Hey, I love it. Hey, we're here for it, right? And when reading y'all's bio, it took me a little bit to get through it the first time.
Yeah,
and
I do want to apologize. There was a typo. It was supposed to be Kraft mac and cheese, not Max and cheese. So,
that was your flub.
Apologies for that.
Wow.
So making me look bad out here. Not to mention with the distraction of somebody coming in the Boneyard Podcast studio here.
Hey, talk about adversity. Talk about adversity.
That is major adversity overcome.
We got just like ECU trying to overcome adversity. Here I am doing it on the podcast.
We're real sorry. We just listening to the first segment there. That y'all are going through it right now.
Yeah, we're struggling. Yeah. We're struggling.
Just a little bit.
That's real tough.
Yeah. It's not a fun place to be right now in Pirate Nation, and there's optimism there, but at the same time, it's like, do I think that we could compete with App State this weekend? I do. Do I expect it after watching the first 2 weeks of the season? I don't. So that's kind of, and I think that's kind of the general consensus around Pirate Nation is what are we going to expect? Is something finally going to click for East Carolina this weekend? I don't know. And
must be some practices this week.
Well, if this helps you guys feel any better about the game, tomorrow will mark 300 days since App State's last FBS win. So
believe it or not.
And that was against Old Dominion, which is kind of an FCS school. So, we're still a little unsure too. We looked great against Chapel Hill, but we looked great last year too. So it's
we've got the problem. I've been thinking about it all week. We'll play up anytime. Texas A&M last year we played up with them. Even going back to like the Penn State game, we played up to Penn State. And then we'll play really, really down to everybody else.
Right. Like when we play Monroe, like we're down there with them. Like we're down there with them.
And that seems like, I mean, that's kind of like what ECU does, right? I mean,
yeah.
Navy, which I mean, they were playing
Navy at all.
They were playing Memphis close earlier. I haven't checked the score again since we started recording, but I mean, they were up on Memphis earlier. Oh, tied 21-21. Memphis hadn't allowed a touchdown up until this game.
Wow.
Tied 21-21 in the third quarter, but we can never seem to figure out Navy, right? It's the triple option, but can never figure it out. But guys, I mean, it seems like y'all have it all going on offense. It does seem like there's some struggles on defense at times. What are your thoughts about this App State team?
I think we recorded a new episode on Tuesday, and I think our general consensus was that offense impressed against Chapel Hill. We feel really confident with offense. Yep. Defense, certainly room for improvement, especially on the rush defense. But overall, some good takeaways.
Yeah, it felt good that last game defensively. Yeah, we gave up over 200-yard rusher, which is never going to be good. But we also we held Drake May to 208 yards passing, and he never really got to air it out like you expect. Chapel Hill
no touchdown either, right?
No, he had a rushing touchdown.
Yeah,
hit a rushing touchdown.
Overtime.
So there's positive there, but there are holes that are pretty obvious by this point.
Yeah, I definitely think that this weekend and next weekend as well against Wyoming are kind of make or break, because is this going to be a repeat of last season where we get the game day, we beat A&M, all the hype, and then we're just kind of ass. We go 6-6. We don't get a bowl game. Like, we break all these streaks, all these records we had. They all come to an end. So if we can beat ECU, we beat Wyoming, then I would feel way more confident that we're actually back. We've actually figured things out.
Going in a conference play 3-1, I feel good competing for the Sun Belt. I don't at 2-2.
Yeah.
And that seems like the kind of place that ECU was in last year, and it seems like we're kind of in the same boat, right? I mean, looking back to week 1, what we kept talking about was how well the ECU defense played against Michigan, right? I mean, held Michigan to 30 points, really shut down probably the best running back duo in the country. And then, I mean, you go out and you have a pretty good game plan against Marshall on defense, but you can't get anything going on offense. And so that's where we're kind of at. Tell me a little bit about what ECU can expect from this App State offense.
First, it's really impressive to me that holding Michigan to 30 when you really weren't generating that much offense, because your defense is still going back out there. It wears you down. So only to give up 30 is really impressive there. I think you can expect from the App offense, we saw a really, really balanced attack against Carolina. Really good mix of runs, passes, we'll air it out. Joey Aguilar has a really, really strong arm.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to expect is Joey California. He is the real deal. He was our second string. For those of you who don't know, second string. Ryan Berger was the first string. During like the first quarter against Gardner-Webb, I believe he had a compound fracture in a finger, and they taped it up. He tried to play, eventually took him out, and then Joey played really well. He starts against Chapel Hill, and I think he played phenomenally.
Yeah.
I was at that game, so he looked very poised every snap. He looked like he had control. He's already got chemistry with Deshaun Davis. It certainly feels like the wide receiver one, just not even necessarily about skill or route running or anything. It's just that connection. He was, I think, he was the only receiver above. He had 117 yards.
Yeah.
Everyone else had below 35.
Yep.
So it was just that connection was really clicking between Joey and Deshaun Davis. So that's certainly something to look out for. Our wide receiver core is really, really strong. We have a lot of weapons. Dalton Stroman, I think he's a sophomore, young guy. He is, he's the one that against Troy, he tipped the Hail Mary. Yeah. So he's got the vertical, he's got the jump.
He's a threat to moss a guy on any play.
He had a great catch against Chapel Hill where 2 dudes on him. Joey just had to put it up and he came down with it and got the catch. Caden Robinson transferred from UCF, I believe. So a lot of balance, or a lot of distribution across the wide receivers, which is impressive. Running backs, Nate Noel, we finally had him back over 100 yards, which that was another record, I think, for was it 14 years?
Yeah,
we
was
had
like
1,000
back pre-FCS championships.
We had like 1,000-yard runner, and then last year we broke it. Yeah. So it's good to see that Nate's back. I don't know if it's actually been months and years since Nate had a 100-yard game, but it feels like it. It feels like an eternity. So it's good to see him back. One of the biggest concerns that App fans have had under Coach Clark, especially last year, he seemed to, with the running back rotation, it was more of like a Pee-wee football, like participation thing. Like everyone gets X amount of snaps.
Like this guy would get a drive, then someone else would get a drive.
Right.
And just like guys that are like third down, pass catching backs would be in on first and second down. And then you put like a fullback.
It just felt like they never allowed one running back to get hot and to find a rhythm. And against Chapel Hill, we did exactly that. Nate Noel was in the majority of the snaps, over 100 yards. He found a rhythm. So I'm hoping we stick to that. And I know it doesn't mean anything to anyone but App State fans, but getting back to 1,000 yards rusher is like very important to me. It's like a New Year's resolution. In September, October. So that's definitely something that I hope we focus on. I hope Nate Noel keeps putting up numbers.
Nice. Now I want to ask you fellas this. I want to ask you about the rivalry itself, because ECU and App, it's an old rivalry, but it's not like we play each other every single year. How do you guys feel about it? How does Boone feel about the rivalry? How excited are people going to be for ECU coming into town on Saturday? What does the rivalry mean for App State fans?
I mean, App fans love playing in-state opponents.
Yeah, really. I mean, give us anybody in state, we're going to treat it like a rivalry game.
Yeah. FCS, I mean, Garner-Webb, it's just cool having in-state teams. I mean, Coach Clark made a great point. When you play in-state teams, the money is staying in the state. Yep. You're recruiting the same players. The families can come visit. It feels like more of an event than – I mean, I'm excited we're playing Wyoming because they're a great team, but it's like that doesn't really mean anything beyond a win, right? There's no rivalry. There's no passion behind that one. So and especially ECU, I mean – people that go to App, they guaranteed they have friends at ECU, so they're trash talking. Everyone in high school, you go to the in-state schools, it's always fun to play those other schools. So people are definitely excited. We love the opportunity to have a full stadium, although every time we break the attendance record, we lose.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I did see a rumor that ECU did not sell their full allotment and returned it to App. So hopefully we do not break.
Well, you guys were charging like $600 a ticket to get to the game.
It's market value.
Hey, free market.
I think we were both at the 2021 game here in Charlotte, and it was such a cool atmosphere to have a in-state rivalry game between two G5 schools in an environment like that. All the fans, shut down uptown Charlotte. So, that was a special game.
Yeah. Any in-state opponent, we love it. App fans are really excited about it.
Yeah. I've long been a fan and proponent for this scheduling model of, look, you have the big four when it comes to college football in the state of North Carolina. You got App State, East Carolina, NC State, and UNC Chapel Hill. Those are the big four. They're the four public universities that really make a name for themselves in football. Yeah, Charlotte has FBS, but nobody gives a shit about Charlotte. Right? Nobody cares about them. So
now, to their credit, Duke might be the best team in the state this year, but that's –
yeah, but we're talking public schools. We're talking public. Like
public schools. Duke's student body is not from North Carolina.
That's true.
I mean, most of the ECU student body is not from North Carolina either, but that's because they can come down here and get a college education for less money than they can go to one of the schools up north. But what I've always thought is it would be really cool for you don't have to do it every year, but every other year, if the four schools came together and said, we're going to schedule y'all and we're going to have like a 3-team kind of round robin where we play your three FBS non-conference games are against each other. App State, UNC, NC State, and East Carolina.
Yep.
That'd be incredible.
Why not do that?
You can kind of have like a mini championship trophy between, who does the best at any given year.
Yeah. There should definitely be something like that for basketball. 100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, North Carolina is the hoop state.
There's no excuse for that, for not having that in basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you do something with the Governor's Cup.
Yeah.
Football, a combination of football, baseball, and basketball. And whoever has the best winning percentage.
See, that would be a tough one for us at App because we'd get
we're ass.
We get really good football points, and then
basketball is getting there, and baseball had a weirdly good year.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens. But
but
we're probably coming out in the bottom of that.
We're kind of if you put like our sports and your sports on a graph, it would kind of like make an X on a scatter plot. It'd be like football high here, football low there. Baseball high here, baseball low there, basketball kind of meets in the middle.
Right, yeah.
And that's actually kind of perfect.
Yeah. I mean, you could honestly probably run an ECU podcast knowing that much.
Hey,
we're game. We'll join the ECU podcast network,
the cinematic universe.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, Tell me, so it sounds like I'm going to be the only one from the Boneyard Podcast
Sadly.
in Boone this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't make it. I can't make it. I know.
Boo.
I've actually never called a game in Boone either, so it's like
Neither have I. I've been to Boone.
Your first time, it's going to be so cool.
I will say though, Boone is a town, like the infrastructure cannot support like 40,000 people. So you will be in a lot of traffic. So try to pee before you leave.
That's a fair point. That part of the experience is that it's kind of crazy in such a small area how many people are there.
Go to the double-decker Wendy's.
Yeah, go to the double-decker
Wendy's.
I feel like I remember seeing that.
Y'all not know about this?
Oh, it's like
I feel like I remember seeing that the one time I visited Boone.
Why does Boone, North Carolina have a double-decker Wendy's?
And I think, ironically, it's like the only one in the country, or one of a handful.
Yeah, I think people have always said it's the only one, and I've never seen another.
The thing is, other Barstool accounts, especially schools that we don't play often, they'll post like, "This is at Boone's finest establishment," and we're like, "Fuck yeah, it is! It's a double-decker Wendy's." Check it out, man! It's great.
It's good.
There's a mural. There's memorabilia. Wendy's.
Love it. Hey.
Yep.
That is
don't go to any of the local businesses. No, don't support them. Go to Wendy's.
Let me ask you. I remember going to Boone. I went to Boone my senior year of high school. That was the last time I went to Boone. I think the only time I've ever been there.
Was that 2014?
It was 2013. Good guess on that.
Great guess.
But yeah, when I went, we went to go up there. We went like tubing, right? Like that's what we went and did in the winter.
Love tubes. And
we went to this restaurant, and it was more like a hole in the wall type of place. And I got this burger. And it was a triple cheeseburger with each of the buns being grilled cheese sandwiches.
Jesus Christ.
And it was a food challenge. I can't for the life of me remember that place, but I won it.
No, you don't. No, you don't want that. Not at this stage.
You could have just told us you lost.
I won it. Look at me.
We weren't there.
Does it look like I lost? No. But do y'all know that place? Is that a place like
I've never heard of this. You
must have shut them down.
I put them out of business.
The winner gets the deed to the fucking property, the building.
Yeah.
Man,
wow.
I felt like shit the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, you had a triple-decker cheeseburger with nothing but grilled cheeses and meat
in between all the.
Yep, 2 grilled cheeses with 3 patties with cheese on each of the patties.
Jeez.
And a basket of fries and a root beer.
You know those like those
what could
Texas toast pieces.
What
could
could
not
have
last.
possibly
like,
been?
Those things got so soggy.
You said it was a hole in the wall. Was it like in downtown Boone?
No, it was like kind of going up the mountain a little bit. It was like kind of like on the side of the road.
Side of the road.
I don't know. Maybe I wasn't even in Boone, but I thought I was.
Yeah, you were probably like 30
Yeah,
minutes.
I think maybe that burger kind of messed with your memories.
Probably.
You
I
might
don't know.
eat something else before.
It threw off your chemicals. Yeah.
But I don't know. My whole family was there, and they all still talk about the day that I ate that sandwich.
I'm so happy you had a core memory like
you
this.
Could do that. You could do that at the double-decker Wendy's. You can make it
build your own,
and you can tell the cashier, "Hey, give me the challenge," and they'll know what you're talking about.
Maybe I was just there. Maybe that's where I was.
You may have.
I blacked out.
Might have just been a triple baconator with like an extra bun.
Can I get the Big Mac, sir? This is a Wendy's.
Wow.
But where are the places other than the double-decker Wendy's? Where should we go?
No, that's it. That's okay. There's other places.
There are.
If you want the Ryan burger of our quarterback, the Cardinal burger, even though he's not playing, he has a burger.
He has a broken finger, and he might need.
He may not be able to hold the burger.
He might need NIL cash to help with the healing.
Other good in terms of bars, Lily's. That's more of like a I'm gonna just be more of a liberal vibe. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a
hip.
Yeah, it's very hipster kind of bar.
If you're an activist, you're going to Lily's.
But it's like a snack bar, so all they do is like chicken fingers, potato wedges. Like there's normally some sort of crab sandwich or something.
But it's a good vibe though.
It's really cool.
It's a good vibe. A lot of activism. And then you go to Tap Room is good.
Tap Room is right next door, and it might be like the polar opposite vibe.
Right. No activism going on.
No activism. Looks like it's a double wide bar.
Actually, that's the establishment I'm going to want to be at. If it looks like it's a little wide, it looks a little like a little hole in the wall. That's
you also got like probably the most poppin' bar will be River Street Ale House.
Yeah, Ale House.
That's right next to the rec center. That's been there for forever. That's actually like probably the most college bar that's there right now.
Okay.
And you're not that far of a walk from the stadium right there.
No,
it's
at
probably,
that point,
it's probably the closest of the bars downtown.
Honestly,
to the stadium.
River Street's probably the closest. Yeah. On King Street, I like Boone Saloon a lot. Controversial take. Some people don't like them, but you know,
I like Boone Saloon.
I don't care what the haters think. So
big restaurant, like dance space upstairs, and then downstairs there's like an arcade.
You like dancing? You a dancer?
I dance.
Jared's a dancer.
Okay,
you dabble.
Boone Saloon. Boone Saloon. It is. Boom.
Boone Saloon.
Yeah.
Catch
and
me
then
there.
there's a couple dessert spots. You've got Ben and Jerry's on King Street. You've got Blue Deer Cookies. They have cookies. A whole lot of donuts. They have donuts. And at Cookie Co on the way out, they have cookies.
Who did we invite on the podcast, Artie?
We didn't rehearse that.
These guys. I'm kidding.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this. Outside of that, because kind of leading into my next question, what's the tailgating scene like then? Like, is this going to be like tailgating scene?
Oh boy,
you don't have to worry.
So
about
tailgating is controversial this year,
but there is a controversy,
right?
I actually did a walk the plank on this earlier this year.
Okay, yeah. So I'll give you a very quick rundown. Basically, there's a lot. We're on a mountain, right? So whenever there's construction going on, you really can't build on new land. You basically have to rebuild on existing land. So there's an expansion going on for the business building, which is where the main tailgate lot is, Rayleigh lot. Mm-hmm. So part of that's closed. So to accommodate, they're only giving tickets to donors, like Yosef Club members. So the students who used to tailgate I think they had a couple rows that were just for students. That's gone. So the primary tailgating through the school, I mean, they can figure out other spots. Yeah. Through the school is on Sanford Mall. But that's kind of dumb because like you have to schedule where you put your tent. You can only drink X amount of hours before the game.
You have to be in a.
It's basically like there's a
student organization.
It's like a lifeguard on duty situation. Yeah, that's no fun. So the tailgating in Rayleigh lot is fun. Like you'll still have a good time.
It's everybody's jammed in there. It's cool.
Yeah, but it's a hot topic.
Yeah, I think we talked about that when that news came out already.
Yeah, we did.
That sucks.
It was weird because it wasn't announced by the university. It was it was like leaked in an email from like student orgs out to like some of the like member clubs about the change, and then that got screenshot and sent to Twitter or whatever. Yeah. And the athletic department really never made like an official.
Technically, the school and athletic department has not made any comment on it at all.
And everybody was just like, oh yeah, they're gonna take care of students, and
just like the NCAA, they lied.
Yeah.
Love it. This
one's for you, Tez.
All right, we have a comment on YouTube. It says, I will subscribe if Cone Boys shotguns a Bud Light.
Ooh.
I do not have any Bud Lights in the mini fridge here right now.
This person will subscribe if you shotgun any beer right now.
Who is it? I bet I know who it is. Who is it? Dox him. Drunk Yosef?
No, the Curry 7. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
I've never met that person.
I've got a Propel.
Chug it. Here,
I don't know.
Chug.
Okay.
No, we gotta do a beer, man. We definitely gotta do a beer. We're chugging anything.
Okay, this is clear beer.
With the helmet on.
That's impressive.
That's safety right there.
Wow. Okay.
He's about halfway through.
The strap is throwing things off, man. This is tough.
I'm honestly impressed that he's had his hand up the whole time too. He's had it posted.
You know,
the entire
I've been propping it. I've been propping it.
Yeah, he has been.
okay.
He has been cheating, but there is probably not a lot of blood left in it.
Oh God.
Oh,
There it is, Jared.
Will,
There it is. Go ahead and crack you open the cold.
Open the fridge and hand me a sweet tea.
Okay.
I'll indulge.
Okay, hold on. We gotta do the reverb again, okay? All right, show it to the good people. And
Yeah, haven't had these yet. These are great.
Crack it open, buddy.
Those are not bad. I've actually had one myself.
Love the reverb. There we go.
Thank you.
Love it.
Oh.
This
I think you
podcast
guys
is
earned
going off
yourself
the
one
rails.
new subscriber.
Whew,
No,
Hey,
I drank too much.
good.
My
that was
fingers
cold.
going down.
Wow, you gotta turn that down.
My hand is so
Nice.
sweaty.
guys, y'all seem like our kind of guys. Not gonna
No,
lie.
this is it. We got
Hey.
to do more ECU.
Y'all
We gotta
seem
play
like,
more games.
man.
Y'all seem like the App State version of us.
Hey,
That's
we're
a compliment.
likable guys. We're relatable. We're just your average guy. Come on. A lot of adversity here. A lot of adversity.
Let me. Is your arm getting tired?
No, you
he's
missed
got
it.
propped up.
He's had his knee under it. He's been
See?
cheating.
It's
Oh.
a little special effect, a little gag. You know,
Little movie magic.
yeah, a little movie magic. Yeah. Yeah, because the Avengers animators just voted to unionize, so they got fired. So now they're working for us. So now
we
they're
have a real high budget operation here.
yeah.
I'm so lost.
This has been years and years and years in the making.
Tell us about your podcast.
Please.
So the Gold Room podcast. You good?
I'm just thinking.
Okay. All right. The Gold Room podcast. Me and Will have known each other since high school, and then we were roommates together at App in college. And we've just had years and years and years of just like talking back and forth about anything, but then just App State sports, being students there and everything.
Go ahead.
Trying to be serious here.
Go ahead.
Really, this is just like a passion project.
This is actually pure gold.
It really started. We
App State Gold, not ECU.
during the 2021 men's basketball season, like we were App State basketball super fans, kind of during the dark years of that basketball program.
And just, I mean, truly, we were 2016, 2017.
yeah,
When we tell you there were 3 to 5 people in the student section,
there were 3 to
we
5.
were.
Y'all talked about ECU basketball earlier. I was the president of the men or of the basketball student section
Yeah.
for ECU, so I
And
understand.
ours wasn't big either. We didn't have a big student
Yeah.
section either.
and we just like loved basketball. And
I'm a hooper myself.
and we just kind of became hooligans at the games, just being the sole student section. So we did a lot, and it kind of just evolved from there. I guess it's kind of how we got to here doing App State content like this. But we live streamed the 2021 Sunbelt tournament and then the NCAA tournament when that team that had a 500 record won 5 games in 5 days to win the Sunbelt title in basketball. We just kind of did our own commentary, streamed it on Twitter, and then kind of told everybody kind of sync up your stream with us and we'll be your commentary because we're going to be better than what the ESPN Plus people say.
And we were.
Yeah. And then we made the Gold Room fall of 2021.
I think so. Yeah, so pretty much all our episodes, this is just us. Like, we already have done podcast type conversations, but just like hanging out. So
Yeah.
we figured we record it. And some people listen. Every now and then a stranger will tell us, like, I listen to your podcast. And it's I don't know if that happens to you guys. It's really weird when someone you don't know says they listen to the podcast. You're like, how the hell did you find this?
kinds of people.
Just this weekend before the ECU game, we went to a bar. We had never been to this bar, and they had this drink called the Boneyard Float. We were like, "Oh, we gotta drink this drink. It's named after our podcast." And the lady said, "Oh, that's y'all." And I was
What?
like,
No way.
and I was
Honestly, it still freaks me out to this day. I'm like, hold on, you know us? You listen to the podcast?
somebody came up to me in a
cool.
Dick's Sporting. I live in Winston-Salem. Somebody came up to me in a Dick's Sporting Goods and said, "Aren't you the guy from the Boneyard Podcast?" And
That's
I said,
awesome.
"What?"
That is awesome.
That's so crazy when stuff like that happens. It was like a couple years ago now. It was the first day of like a new job for me, and I was like at an event, and it was 2021 during COVID. So like, and it was outside in the rain. So I have like a jacket on, and then like my glasses on, and then a mask, hood up, and this random kid walked up to me and he's like, "Hey, are you that guy with the App State stuff?" And I was like, how could you possibly recognize me right now? I'm not even talking.
I just had a woman message me on LinkedIn 2 weeks ago saying she loves the show. That was awesome. I was like, what the hell?
So like, this is something like we just do this because we find it fun. So people listening and actually liking it is just kind of extra.
Yeah, it's just a bonus. Yeah.
Exactly. Love it. And I got one more question. I gotta know where'd the Cone Boy thing come from?
Let me take this one.
Yeah, go right ahead. I'll sit back, get cozy.
So when we were talking about App State basketball having no fans, I would go literally like 2016, maybe spring 2016. That was my freshman year. I would go and like, because there was no fans there, everyone could hear everything I said. So I would just talk. The whole game. I would chirp at the players, but not like the usual stuff, like you suck. But I'd be like, when the other team would go up for free throws, I'd be coaching them. I'd be like, all right, focus on the back of the rim, couple dribbles. Don't listen to any of the noise, just focus, right? So stuff like that. And then I think one game I turned one of the programs into a cone. And then I made a poster board, like I turned that into a cone and just escalated. And then one game when playing Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, who are usually very good at basketball and we're usually not. We were beating them like 20 to 30 points in app. So it's totally out of the norm. Norm, you mentioned Charlotte. Their coach, Bobby Marlin. Yes. Their coach, Bobby Marlin, is very low-hanging fruit. We were just making Finding Nemo jokes, right? Where's my son? Well, the security guards and cops come over to me and they say, hey, the coach said you're threatening his family. You have to stop. And I said, as any college student does, right? I said, oh, okay, I'll stop. Who wants the cone, right? So I'm trying to pass it out. They said, nope, you got to go. So they kicked me out into the freezing cold of January in Boone, man. Like I was on the streets. But literally, like the next home game, we had like quadruple the attendance because people heard about me getting kicked.
It was unbelievable because like you got kicked out and there were like 5 people there. And then like the next game, it felt
20.
Like, yeah, like it was like a thing. Like you blew up on Barstool that week.
And then, so since then, for my birthday one year, he got me like a professional, basically like a cheerleader grade cone, like hard plastic with like stickers on with a name on everything.
ECU fans are gonna love this.
So my Twitter name is Cone Boy, and people like at Chapel Hill. I went to a bar. I walked in. The guy's like, "Hey, are you Cone Boy?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm Cone Boy." So that's where it came from. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Shout out Left Field Megaphones.
Shout out Left Field Megaphones, our homies, our inspiration. Shout out.
I know a thing or two about getting kicked out of a basketball game. So
I was about to say, Jay, you might have to plug that story real quick.
If you don't have,
he's getting emotional.
About this.
He's getting emotional.
This is important to me. If you don't have a police officer walk up to you at some point during a college basketball game, did you go to a college basketball game?
I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
So my story, and I've told this a time or two on the podcast, but I'll tell it to y'all. My story, women's NIT.
Okay, let's go. This is a good story. This is a good story. This is a banger off the bat.
Women's NIT. Somebody could probably look, 2016. I think. Don't check me on that. I can't remember the year that we did that. But ECU round 1, ECU NC State, inside Minji's, and I was leading the Minji's Maniacs, and of course, they put the NC State family section stupidly right next to the student section. They did it for every game. Like they were always right next to us.
Yeah, they got to think about that, man.
Yeah,
And
Apple does the same thing.
yeah, we
gotta
done similar.
And anyways, like they're talking shit, I'm talking shit. Like the game's close, like whatever. Like, and this mom is like talking shit to me, like mad shit. And I was like, I looked at her, I was like, yo, like, chill the fuck out. Like, and her son, which I guess was like 17, I guess he wasn't a college student, he started talking. And I said, dude, turn your ass around and watch the damn game.
Roll.
And he gave me the bird. His mom gave me the bird. His 6-year-old sister gave me the bird.
Damn.
So I gave it right back.
That's
I gave it right back.
Oh.
And I was just standing there front row. Everybody could see me. And yeah, the mom went and said that I was threatening them. And I was like, look, I knew the officer. I'd talked to the officer plenty of times.
We were well acquainted by this point.
And I said, look, I did give her the bird, but she gave me the bird first.
I admit
it was a reciprocation of the bird. And they said, well, you got to leave. And I was like, why do I have to leave? I ended up having to go to I had to meet with the student rights and responsibilities organization about poor sportsmanship.
What?
It was terrible.
Damn.
I got kicked out. They took my student ID. I was like, do I get this back?
Damn, you couldn't even get food.
I was like, this
couldn't even check out a library book.
Couldn't get into the dorm.
So yeah, I had to come back on Monday and get my ID. But yeah, got kicked out of a women's basketball game. I had one time we played UTEP, and I had the UTEP basketball coach turn around and say, y'all are the meanest people that I've ever met in my life.
Wow.
In that position, though, that is the highest compliment one could ever give.
Yes.
And then the creme de la creme of my stories is Mick Cronin, who's the head basketball coach at UCLA now.
I met him earlier this summer. That's a weird fun
He used to coach Cincinnati, and he was getting so mad at the refs, just like his veins were popping out of his head. And I just said, Mick, don't have an aneurysm. I had no idea he had already had one.
Even more important to warn him.
Oh my! Wow.
I mean, Jared, this is common knowledge. Everyone knows he's had an aneurysm.
Yeah, everybody else in the student section was like, Jared, you can't say that. I was like, I had no idea. I do my research, but I don't do that deep of research. I'm not going through this guy's medical records.
Yeah, you could have made it a don't have a stroke or.
So
that's honestly that's my favorite one. The fact that you said don't have an aneurysm and he had already had an aneurysm. That's my favorite one.
Because then now in their mind, you meant that.
It was malicious.
Yes. Yeah, you knew and it was malicious. Yeah.
Yes. And there are people that have carried that with them their whole lives from that moment.
Those ECU fans wishing death.
Guys, go ahead and plug where people can find you. We're gonna have to start wrapping up here in a minute. Been a blast.
Yeah, right. Social media manager, take it away.
Yes, let me double check our Twitter username. I want to be positive at the Gold Room Pod. That is the Gold Room Pod, as in Tide Pod. Follow us there. We usually record an episode about once a week. We don't really have a schedule. We kind of do whenever we're available. We've been doing Tuesday, Wednesdays lately.
Yeah.
But basically what you're seeing here is what the show is about. It's mainly App State focused, but we do usually just banter. And if we have any wacky stories from our lives.
There's a lot of bits about just whatever.
We're bit heavy.
Yeah. We'll have a special episode coming out in November. We do an annual retreat where we go to Meat Camp, North Carolina, which is just outside of Boone. get all the fellas together, and we record a special episode there with Drunk Yosef. That's always a hoot nanny.
Mm-hmm. And we just recently realized that on Apple Podcasts, we have 7 reviews,
which is crazy.
We have 6 5-stars and 1 1-star. So we are on the hunt for that 1-star, and we have a couple suspects. So just if I'm just putting that out there. If you did it, we on your ass.
We have a bunch of on ours. We have a bunch of 1-stars and a couple 2-stars, and it's just a bunch of NC State fans that
a school that had beef.
The 2-star is almost more insulting.
I'm shocked we didn't get that after A&M. Yeah, we did like a special like 5-minute segment where we like did a mock midnight yell after we beat Texas A&M because theirs was just like so hateful towards us, and we spam that on every single Texas A&M post like that entire week.
Right.
Anything any of them posted.
I was like, oh, this is leaked audio from the practice room. This wasn't supposed to be heard,
and it did ridiculous numbers, and I'm surprised people didn't rate us for that.
Yeah, we have a whole podcast called Boston College is added to the shit list.
Because fuck Boston College.
Because fuck Boston College.
Hey, App State's got beef with Boston College.
Yeah, we'll do stuff like that too.
Go. Anytime we play NC State, it's always stuck fate.
I like that.
That rolls well.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Go listen to those episodes. I think one of them has like over 1,000 plays on all podcast platforms. So that was our biggest episode. It had like 1,200 plays on it. So go check that one out. Stuck Fate.
Stuck Fate.
Yeah. I think that was Stuck Fate version 2.
Yeah.
I like the V2. That's good.
And then check out the Boston College shit list one. That one's a good one. That one's a very good one. That's after they canceled our bowl game with them. So go do yourself a favor, guys. Go check that one out. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It. Hey, Scouts Honor, I'm on it.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. We'll have to link up. We'll link up another time. We'll link up another time for sure.
Basketball. I don't know if you play basketball, baseball, something like that. We have to come on.
Y'all, we'll talk to y'all.
Yeah.
Awesome. For sure. Bye, guys.
Appreciate it, fellas.
See ya.
Wow, Artie. What a podcast.
That was fun.
We said we weren't going to go that long. We said we
and we went that long.
And here the fuck we are again.
Hey, look, it was a good interview though when you really don't even break down the game. We didn't even really break down the game like that. So,
I mean, I could have talked to those guys forever.
Yeah,
those are my kind of guys.
That was fun.
Those are my kind of guys. Artie, we're killing it this year on these pregame podcasts. Like we just are. Like, we're not talking to the 24/7 guys anymore. We're not talking to the radio guys. We're gonna have to probably find one for Gardner Webb because I'm sure they don't have a podcast about Gardner Webb. Like, we're gonna have to find somebody to talk to.
We like to come on here and have fun, man. We like to come on here and have fun.
But what a fucking! I almost walked out. Like, I couldn't believe what we were talking about. Then Savannah just walking in at the beginning of it while I was trying to read that insane bio that they sent us.
The one thing I'm going to remember from that #activism. That was funny.
I don't think we have any Twitter questions this week, Artie. Let's just get straight to walk the fucking plank, and then we'll do gambling corner, and then we'll get it out of here. Do you have a walk the plank?
Honestly, outside of our abysmal performances last weekend, I don't really have a walk the plank. But I will say ECU football definitely deserves a walk the plank after this past weekend. I could go a couple different ways. I'm gonna go Michigan State. You talking about the Mel Tucker situation?
Because they fired D'Antoni because he was covering up sexual assault.
Mm-hmm.
Hired Mel Tucker. I don't know whether I believe this Mel Tucker story after I've read everything. I don't know. It seems like they just they got gift wrapped a reason to fire Mel Tucker, it seems like. But now people are calling for them to put Mike D'Antoni back into the head coaching position. Like, what are you doing, Michigan State?
Hey, I mean, look, they try to prop up Michigan State like they're the end all be all. Michigan scandals are buying cheeseburgers. Michigan State scandals are covering up sex scandals.
Not a cheeseburger with not a triple cheeseburger with grilled cheese sandwiches. That would be a scandal. Yeah. Having one of those. That's mine. That and can't really think of any others. Like, I don't know, the men's basketball team, the USA team, not even getting bronze.
Oh man, what did they lose to Germany?
They lost to Germany, and then
it was a bunch of.
Then they lost to Canada.
I mean, we didn't have.
You're the only country that's like a basketball country.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. No, but honestly, no, that's not true because a lot of these international countries are actually really, really good at basketball. Really good.
Not a sport. All right. That's my walk the plank. All right, gambling corner, Artie.
Let's do it.
Let's get out of here. How the hell did this game get scheduled? Who scheduled this game? Number 10, Alabama on the road
in South Florida
in Tampa Bay at USF. Whoever the athletic director is at USF needs a raise.
He needs a raise because South Florida they've literally been the embarrassment of the American for the last 4 or 5 years. They've been an embarrassment.
They haven't won an FBA. App State, those guys from the Golden Room podcast, we're talking about not winning an FBS game in 300 days.
USF has
won they've won 1 in 3 years.
They've been dog shit. And the fact that they're hosting Alabama at home, yeah, their athletic director deserves a damn raise. He honestly deserves a better job. He should be somewhere bigger than South Florida.
Artie, did you see the Alabama, like their team, before they left, they were eating a gator? They were eating a cooked gator before. Do they not realize that's a different team in Florida?
Yeah, who cares? They don't care. They're going to go there and win by 60. They don't care.
That's disrespectful. Like they just completely don't know even what you are.
Right. They don't even know your mascot. They don't give a damn about you.
All right. The line, Alabama's -33, over under 61. Is there any chance that South Florida even covers?
No.
Okay.
Alabama is coming off a loss at home to Texas.
Nick Saban has those boys right.
Man, they're gonna abuse South Florida like you've never seen. This game's gonna be over in the first quarter.
Yeah,
this is not gonna be close at all. This is gonna be over in the first quarter.
Yeah, bet the over, and this is like a 70 to 10 game.
The 10 kind of football game.
What'd you say?
It's gonna be a 65 to 10 kind of football game.
I said 70 to 10. So, all right. Oklahoma at Tulsa. Tulsa's coming off a loss last week at Washington. Second straight week where they're facing a top 25 opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, they are 2-0. Tulsa's 1-1. Like I said, they lost to Washington last week. I think they beat Arkansas Pine Bluff week 1. Look at me knowing who the fuck Arkansas Pine Bluff is.
Proud of you.
Artie, could you tell me what the Arkansas Pine Bluff mascot is?
Nope, don't care. I would say something like a maple tree or like a something weird.
It looks like a dragon.
Okay.
I don't know. I know we played them in basketball a couple years ago. All right. Anyways, Oklahoma is a 28.5 point favorite. The over-under is 59.5. Any chance they cover? Let's see. Tulsa last week, I mean, yeah, they lost by 33 last week at Washington.
Well, Washington also, outside of USC, is the best offense in the country.
Yeah.
Like dead ass. They are the best offense in the country outside of USC. So I would give them a mulligan.
Guarantee it's not ECU.
Yeah. Look, Tulsa's one of those teams. They're not that bad for long. They quietly get better in
Fuck
in the
Tulsa.
night. It's still fuck Tulsa, yes, and they will lose this game, but I think they cover. I think they cover. And I don't think they lose by what was it, 27.5 that they're
28.5.
28.5. Nah, they'll lose by 3 touchdowns.
All right, I'm with it. I'll say I don't think they cover. I'm going to say that. Just really the reason being is I think that they're doing pretty good, and then there's a backdoor cover by Oklahoma late in the game.
It feels like a 38-17 ball game to me. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna get out. It's gonna be a close game to start, and then Oklahoma's gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Florida Atlantic at number 25, Clemson. Clemson's a 24.5 point favorite. Over under is 51.5. Artie, I'm gonna lock it in.
What's that?
Take Florida Atlantic to cover in this football game.
Okay, I thought you were about to say something crazy.
No, that's my lock of the week. Like
Florida Atlantic to cover.
Florida Atlantic to cover. You could honestly probably get them at plus. If you can find them for like plus 17, plus 14, I think that's good money.
I don't know. I think honestly, I think some people are making too much out of the Duke game. I think Duke's a lot better than people think. Like, I really do think Duke probably could finish the best team in the state this year. Clemson's gonna roll. Clemson's gonna be Florida Atlantic by a lot of points. They're gonna roll. I don't think FAU covers.
I don't know. I think because Clemson had trouble to start the game last week.
But what was the final score, Jared? What was the final score? Come on now.
All right, yeah, it was 66-17 against Charleston Southern.
Come on now.
But going into halftime, they were up 24-17. They were up by a touchdown. Granted,
yeah, I think FAU is not going to allow Clemson to score 66. They're not Charleston Southern. But this is like a 45-10, 45-14 kind of football game.
I'm taking the over, but I do think I don't think that Clemson beats them by 25 or more.
Like it'd be 27-14 at halftime, right? It'd be something decent, and then Clemson's gonna roll.
All right. So you're taking Clemson. I'm gonna take Florida Atlantic. And then, all right, Artie. Army at UTSA. This is on Friday night. Matchup of two potential or a potential future American Conference matchup.
Yeah.
Both teams trying to get to 2-1. UTSA is minus 8.5. Over under is 44. Your thoughts?
Because of the style of play that Army likes to play, give me the under. Even though UTSA has a very good offense, they can put up some points. Give me the under. And give me UTSA. This is going to be a close game for 3 quarters. And I think UTSA pulls away late.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like 27-20 kind of ball game.
So Army covers.
Well, I took the under. Nah, I'm thinking like 24-14.
All right, UTSA. I'm gonna take the under. UTSA 24. Army. I think Army can cover. Army 17.
Okay.
I feel like that's a respectable game on a Friday night.
Yeah.
All right. So you took UTSA to cover, just making
Right.
sure we have it in the notes.
Yeah.
No, we're down another intern, Artie. We're back to the OGs.
It's just the OGs, baby. That's all we need. All we need is the OGs.
That's all we need. All right. ECU at App State. App State's -8.5.
Yeah.
Artie, this may be the pivotal point of the season for ECU. We talked about it earlier. This has become a must-win game. You win this game, all is okay. You finish non-conference 2-2. You try to find 4 more wins, 5 more wins in conference play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. ECU at App State. There's a lot that rides on this game, and we've put ourselves in a bad spot. But I do think that ECU can compete with App State. I really do. And if they figured something out this week at practice, which I hope to God they did, they can definitely win this game. App State, like I said, App State is a lot like Marshall, and ECU hung with Marshall last week, and it wasn't until late in the game that Marshall had a trick play, and then the wheels came off. Right? I think this is a game into the fourth quarter. I don't know how I feel about ECU to cover, though. I'll let you talk first.
This is must-win territory. ECU has to play. Honestly, ECU has to play the most desperate that it has played in a couple of years. This is like, and then you don't want to play like you're desperate because it's just week 3, but you kind of have to, right? I mean, this is muscle. You can't start 0-3. You can't. You cannot start 0-3. And I know the schedule eases up, from weeks 4 through 7 or whatever. But we know what the back half of the schedule looks like. We know the gauntlet that we have. We know the teams we had to play in the American that are looking pretty good. You cannot start 0-3. And so there's got to be a level of urgency and desperation in this East Carolina football team. And they have to understand, we have to get it done right now. This is not a work in progress. The mindset cannot be work in progress. The mindset has to be, it's got to start right now, today. With that being said, yeah, we have the intangibles. We have the skill set. We have the players to go up to Boone and win that football game. Not compete. We have the players to go up there and win that football game. Will they show up? That remains to be seen. I know this defense is going to keep us in the game for at least three and a half quarters. All right, so it's not that we're going to get blown out. We're not going to Boone and get blown out. I know the defense is going to keep us in the game. I know Blake Harrell's going to have a great game plan for whatever they got. It's really on this offense. It's on this offense. It's on the play calling. Are they going to show up? Are they going to deliver? Are we going to be able to get passes down the field? Is the receiver going to step up and do what he's got to do? Do I feel good about winning this game? Of course not. We started 0-2. We got blown out at home last week to Marshall. No, I don't feel good about going up to Boone and winning this game. But can we win this game? Yes, we can. Do we cover? I don't know either, to be honest with you. I have no idea if we cover. So
fuck it, ECU covers.
What's your score? Give me a score.
God damn it, Artie.
Give me a score, Jared. Look, man, it's a podcast now. We're here to give out predictions.
The over-under is 47.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take. Whoever wins 24-17.
Okay. I think 27-20. And I think it's a defensive slugfest for a long time. The offenses wake up a little bit in the second half, and then I think ECU is gonna put something together in the fourth quarter and put it away because this is a must-win game. So I'm saying 27-20.
I see this game being a lot like the ECU Marshall game back in 2021, where ECU really needed a win, and they were down. They were down,
and they put something together.
Like what? Don't be surprised if this game feels a lot like that on Saturday.
And that's a game that had we lost that game, that probably would have derailed our season.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I can see
there's guys on this team that have been there before. Okay. Anything else, Artie, before we close it out?
Nah, man, we're sitting right at an hour and a half. I like it. Long podcast, but a good podcast.
Awesome. Well, be sure to check out VSN, Variety Sports Network. Follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. While you're at it, subscribe to us on YouTube. Do it. It takes 5 seconds. We're trying to get our subscribers up. It's still something fairly new for us. Our numbers have gone up every week. Hey, do it for us. If you do it, you're a friend of the podcast. Also, leave us a 5-star review. If you do that, you're a friend of the podcast. Tell us where you listen tell us where you listen, whether it's the car or at work.
Yeah.
Tell us that in the review. We want to know. Also, if we start a blog, would you read it? Let us know. Let us know. DM us. If you're listening this far, DM us and let us know if you would read our blog. All right, Artie. That's all I got. Let's be that.
Hey, wash your hands, wash your butts, Pirate Nation. Let's go to Boone and get a dub, damn it. Love y'all. We out. Deuce.
Peace.